Everyone. So, a while back, we got information that Dewey Riley is set to return for the upcoming Scream 7. Now, in what capacity is that? I don't think that they're going to retcon his kill, but, maybe some flashbacks, little homage, right? Maybe just like a scene, or maybe, how we saw Billy. Maybe they do something with Gale where she kind of just like has Dewey as like the angel on her shoulder type thing, right? There's a lot of ways that they can kind of approach it and go about it or whatever. But according to reports, Courtney Cox was a huge reason and really pushed hard for Dewey Riley or David Arquette to return to this Scream film, that she's like really big. She looks at this as like her family. Obviously, Dewey and Courtney, David and Courtney were married together for years, many years. And they still have love for each other, right? They're still, co-parent, they do all the things, right? They still are like best friends and stuff like that. So they have a good relationship. And apparently Courtney Cox pushed really hard for David Arquette's return as Dewey Riley. It's slated that she just kind of looks at this as a family. But again, according to the report, Courtney Cox reportedly insisted David Arquette be included in Scream 7. Rebuilding the Scream franchise from the ground up has been a huge part of Courtney's life for the last year. After the original plans for the seventh film imploded and the stars and directors left the project, the insider reveals Courtney has helped tune the re-imaged movie into a once-in-a-lifetime reunion of classic 1996 original, bringing back Matthew Lillard and even her ex-husband, David, into the cast, despite the fact their characters have been definitively killed off in previous installments. She sees these films as a familiar affair, or family affair, and takes her work on these films in particularly incredibly personally. It wouldn't be a fulfilling experience for her if David wasn't strongly featured and they couldn't put their famous chemistry to the test once again. And this was per In Touch Weekly. So according to In Touch Weekly, Courtney Cox has kind of been in the background working to kind of help shape this film, right? We see David Arquette, obviously, again, Dewey Riley's slated to return. You have Matthew Lillard returning as Stu Macher. What capacity? Again, we don't know. A lot of people think that he's actually coming back as, Ghostface or the mastermind or whatever, which, again, could be a real possibility. We have Roman Bridger. We have Billy Loomis that's supposed to return. There's rumors about, like, Jill and stuff like that, right? There's still several characters that are kind of out there in the ether that have been kind of rumored and stuff, but we have several that have been confirmed that we know are like, hey, they're going to be back in this upcoming installment, in this upcoming film. And again, it seems to be probably AI or the voice changer from Scream 3, that's kind of the approach. There's rumors that there's going to be like deep fake, that, Sydney might have a conversation with, Stu or somebody like that on like a deep fake level, or like a voice box changer, which kind of makes sense. That's what was introduced in Scream 3 at the time. It was something that a lot of people were like, this isn't really like, you're like 10 years too early, right? You're ahead of your time with this, which the technology existed. It just was like which is unfortunate because they had a whole scene that explained how it worked and how Roman created it and was able to do what he did. And it actually made sense and fit. And they just like cut it out. So it kind of just like was so random. It was like, how does this fit? Where now in today's day and age, I mean, people make entire YouTube channels on just like AI, right? And they're just like, and like the voice and then the image. And, there's even big content creators that have like switched to just pure AI and they're, emulating themselves via AI, and then all the deep fake technologies and all that stuff. So we're in a time and in an era where you can do that, and it does make sense, and it does kind of fit, right? And would be kind of terrifying, right? Imagine like, you don't know who you're talking to. Sydney thinks she's talking to her daughter, and it's like, yeah, I'll leave the door open for you. I'll leave the back door unlocked. Okay, thanks, and then she just leaves it unlocked and goes to bed or whatever, or, another character. I imagine that there's probably going to be a kill or two just through the AI technology. Like somebody gets tricked into thinking that like, Ghostface is, alive, or is, somebody else like their daughter or whatever. And then boom, shows up, pokey poke, and then boom, they're gone, right? Like I could see something along those lines, but I still maintain, whether it's Dewey Riley, Stu Macher, Roman, whoever, you name it, I still maintain I do not want to bring back the past, right? if you want to incorporate them in some capacity where it's like, like I said, an AI thing or a voice changer, or it's like a flashback sequence or something like that, so be it. I'm okay with that. I'm fine. Let's do it. Sounds like a good time, right? But if all of a sudden Dewey's alive and he's been in a coma for the last like 5 years or so, like if they start getting, I don't want them to open up that box, because as soon as you open that box, now it becomes easier to open it every time. So now all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's bring back Randy, let's bring back and it's like you start creating this franchise to be something that it's not supposed to be. It's not meant to be. I mean, even Wes Craven, his one rule is like, you don't bring back the dead, right? Like that's one of the reasons why he didn't want to bring back Randy, because they wanted to bring back Randy because there was such backlash for his character being killed off, right? So Jamie Kennedy's character. So I don't want to see them go down the path of, now they're bringing back all these characters, and Dewey really didn't die. It was all, it was a dream Gale had or something, and she was terrified or whatever. And, and they try to like justify it or explain it, and we all know it. Now it just kind of ruins Scream 5. And it's just like, you did what you did, accept it and move on. Right? At some point, you're probably going to have to kill one of these three anyway. And Sydney's not going to die. Gale Weathers doesn't need explanation for why she's anywhere, right? Dewey, in my opinion, was the most likely candidate. I think he was the candidate that made the most sense, because he needed a reason to go places. Yeah, he go help Sydney and stuff like that. You could do that. But, also, are they calling him? Like, it's just, there's a lot, right? Obviously, Dewey went to Sydney in Scream 2, because he found out on the news. But like, if he doesn't see that, he's this like hermit recluse. He might not see that stuff. He might not know. He might not be aware of that stuff, right? So, it's just, I don't want to see this start to become something that it's not. I want them to kind of, keep it as realistic as possible. Obviously it's a movie. There's movie logic. There's been unrealistic moments in Scream, but for the most part, it is very grounded, right? It hasn't gone down the route of like different timelines and bringing back characters and doing all this stuff, all this crazy stuff. And the beauty is you don't have to, right? It's not a Jason. It's not a Michael. It's not a Freddy. It's not anything. It's always, it's somebody, it's somebody, you don't know who the killer's going to be, right? Like it's the guessing game. It's the clue game. It's just like, I don't know. I'm okay with David Arquette being in this film. I love that Courtney Cox wants David Arquette in this film, but I don't want to see them. I don't want him magically back from the dead, personally, right? I just want them to kind of stay the course. What you did, you did. What's done is done. Move on and, have Dewey in some capacity. But as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think, like, yes, leave the dead. If you want to incorporate Dewey Riley and David Arquette, fine, so be it. Do you think, no, like, bring Dewey back, bring Stu back, bring them all back, right? Nobody died in the Scream movie. It was all stab all along, right? It was all make-believe. But anyway, again, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.